So AOC disappeared for almost 2 weeks until this morning. Let's see if we can figure out why she all of a sudden decided to return back to Twitter. So AOC disappeared from Twitter. And she disappeared for like 11 days, basically. And I talked about it last night on Twitter because I found it very, very peculiar. As you can see here, I said AOC hasn't tweeted since April 4th, 2001. April 1st. I said 0401. I can't talk or think today. But as you can see here, said April 1st, and then which is ironically April Fool's Day. And I said I think she heard us. And what I was specifically referring to in this tweet is the fact that we called her out on the border crisis, and how she basically kowtowed to the establishment. We called her out on everything, right? We've been calling her out on everything. Her inconsistency, her unwillingness to challenge the Biden administration in any substantive way, her partaking in imperialist-like behavior, even engaging in rhetoric that many people would consider to be quote-unquote Zionist rhetoric, right? Sympathizing with the Israeli government in an apartheid scenario, which is the relationship between Israel and Palestine at the moment, right? So we've been calling her out. And on Twitter, every time she tweets something out, she gets dragged. And in fact, on Instagram, she's also decided to stop allowing her live streams to be replayed because people were cutting out the most horrible statements from her live streams and then holding her accountable. God forbid anybody does that. So if you look at AOC's Twitter, she herself has not tweeted since, here you go. Happy birthday, Jamal Bowman, from the Bronx school principal to congressman for New York 16. You make our borough proud. I mean, I guess it is only fitting that, she helps to celebrate someone else who's known for just talking and not doing anything. So her and Jamal Bowman, it makes sense. But then you have this, a retweet of lies. Then you have this, a retweet of Ilhan Omar, and this is April 6th, and then it goes all the way until 2 hours ago. So for context here, ladies and gentlemen, it needs to be understood. AOC is not tweeted. She's engaged on Facebook because on Facebook, her sycophants love her and have not figured out her secret yet. Facebook people are always the last ones to figure everything out. We need y'all to catch up, but I know it's a little bit harder because the algorithm is doomed all real news, but I get it. And then on top of that, you have her Instagram live. Now, there's a lot of young people on Instagram who have not really been woken up to the hypocrisy of AOC, although that tide is also turning to such a degree that AOC has actually stopped allowing her live videos to replay and repost after she goes live, because there's a function that allows you to do that, right? So it's like on YouTube, I record a live stream. After I live stream, as long as I don't unlist the video, it'll automatically post. Before, AOC would do this, allow the automatic posting. Now she does not, because people were taking her Instagram videos, rightfully so, cutting up the worst parts of them and holding her ass accountable. And so she wasn't safe on Twitter, Instagram, and the only place she's really been safe on is probably Facebook. But after being called out by multiple people, including myself, like I said, to bring back up the tweet, like I said, she hasn't tweeted since April 4th. People, she hasn't tweeted since April 4th. Right here, you can see it. Since April 4th, she hasn't tweeted. And so what would make her tweet now? Because, it's got 5,000 likes. I've seen some other tweets about it. Got thousands of likes. I've seen other, and it's not only on Twitter. It's circulating on Instagram that she's hiding from everybody. And the moment that everybody begins to call her out. Everybody with like a bigger platform begin to call her out. Because y'all know AOC is always on social media. She reappears with what? With a major press release. It's taken a lot of work, but I'm proud to announce that FEMA is launching our funeral assistance program. Not FEMA, whatever. Starting today, people can apply for up to $9,000 in COVID funeral reimbursements. Yeah, we know what that means. Means tested up to $9,000. The odds of you as a middle class individual qualifying for it, probably not a lot, right? I mean, I guess apply for it if you need it. I want to know if they're going to pay $9,000 to my grandfather or my grandmother who has to pay $500 a day to keep my grandfather who wants to be cremated in a morgue because California will not release his birth certificate. Or the fact that they are not allowing my grandfather who took a vaccine 36 hours, took the Moderna vaccine 36 hours prior to dying, literally. Like they wouldn't allow for him to get an autopsy. They wouldn't allow for my grandma to get an autopsy. Like, so I already know how this game goes. Just like y'all means tested the 1400, y'all means tested the 600. Oh yeah, means tested. You know what means tested? It means y'all about to get left out. That's what that generally means. But she's pretending as if they did, like she did something. And she's even bragging about how she worked with Chuck Schumer to get the hotline up and running. It's crazy how Chuck Schumer pops out of nowhere to take credit for something, but every time the Democrats fuck up, it's Joe Manchin's fault. Just in case y'all didn't notice. So the overall question is, what does this say about AOC that she, once she gets criticized, rightfully so, she disappears? And when it's finally time to reappear to try and save her image, this is what we get. Once again, milquetoast. It's cool, I guess, if you're one of the ones that qualify for it. The odds are most of the people who have died from COVID, this is once again too little too late. Most of the people who have died from COVID, supposedly that's done, dead and gone. Those funerals were paid for. Those funerals were had. Y'all have disallowed them from even having funerals. I know people that couldn't even, my grandpa can't even have a fucking funeral. Depending on your state, that's back months ago is when you could have used this money. So once again, it's too little too late from AOC. But it's her reappearing to save her brand again after being gone since April 1st. After being criticized, she had nothing to say about those genuine criticisms. Mind you, she responds to everything. Y'all know AOC is always on Twitter. Always responding to people. She can't shut her damn mouth half the time. But you disappeared after people called you out. Took those live streams off your Instagram after people called you out for acquiescing to Biden's bullshit. And now you reappear to, I'm working beside Chuck Schumer so you can pay for COVID funeral costs that you've already paid for 6 months ago when your family member or your friend died. Here you go. Congratulations. People are defending this. And everybody says, why do we focus on AOC? Because AOC is always focused on AOC. And we didn't elect her in the New York, Queens, and the Bronx did not elect her to focus on AOC, to do what's best for the AOC's career, to do what's best for the Democrats, or to do what's best for the Biden administration. In fact, they elected her because they expected the opposite, actually. She ran on challenging the Democratic Party, not uplifting them, not protecting them from legitimate criticisms. She tweets out about this nonsense, but isn't tweeting out about the fact that Biden's already deported more undocumented immigrants than Trump did already. And I even laughed during a debate because he had the audacity to say, well, they call Obama deporter in chief. And he said, that was under Obama. It's going to be different under me. I was like, yeah, okay. Y'all, and then people got mad. How do you know? We don't know that. He could learn from his past. And what has AOC said about Joe Biden deporting more undocumented immigrants than Trump? Nothing. Those ICE facilities that are still around that literally sterilize women via illegal surgery, nothing. She's all of a sudden that's not happening anymore. It's disappeared. We have to hold AOC accountable because we know that for politicians who stay in the spotlight and make it their business to stay in the spotlight, this isn't their last stop. And people need to know who she is now so it does not cause problems for us later. It's that simple. And we're going to keep holding her accountable because somebody has to. And like I always say, it's hard being right 6 months to a year in advance, but we did tell y'all this was coming. We did tell y'all this was coming. So I'd like to know what you think about this. Like this video, share this video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment below, and always remember more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.